is the first of the month, so grab your pinchin' fingers. Pinchin' fingers? What's this? What's slang for hands? Claws. Grab your claws.
You're on this train on your own, babe.
Well, I'm just trying to make it.
What is slang for hands? I mean, is there slang for hands? Your mitts?
Yeah, there you go.
Grab your mitts. Hold your tits.
Grab your mitts and feel your titties.
Yeah, go on.
Check there's no anything different, no changes. If there are, call your bloody doctor, guys. Okay, we're too old for this. No ignoring. Promise. Sorry, that was aggressive. I didn't mean to yell at everyone.
It's okay. Boob checks are very important. They're no different to skin checks.
No.
Which we will badger you about too, DLs.
Yeah, you got to get it all done, guys.
Yeah, I know. We're at that age.
Yeah, just be responsible.
Boring.
Just be responsible.
Boring. Should we get into the episode?
Yes.
We have 1,000 things to do, but we'd rather chat to you. With emails and meetings and husbands and kids, we don't have time for this. Just what you need, two basic bitches with a podcast.
Hello and welcome to We Don't Have Time for This. I'm your host, Gemma Pranita, aka Gemma Peanut on the gram, along with my co-host,
Kate Revz.
How goes thee?
I just realised we're wearing our merch we haven't launched yet.
We are. Should we launch it?
We're going to have to because YouTubers are going to be like, what's with the hats,
what's
girls?
This? We're not even soft launching.
Where'd you get your hats, girls?
Launching.
Bit of sausage. These hats were supposed to be for Mother's Day, but we got so finicky on samples.
We did.
And we wanted them to be A grade, beautiful dad caps that we delayed everything. And so they turned up with the show hats. And then we were like, well, we can't sell these as well. It's too much. But
Were
here we
we
are.
being apologists?
I don't know if we're being apologetic. No, I think we're just finger on pulse, Gem. You got to
Yeah.
think these things through. You can't just be like, oh, here, buy this all the time.
DLs, I have to say, the world of merch, lots of learnings, lots of takeaways, and this is part of the reason why we've been so fastidious about the design, is because we now know a little bit more about how these things work. We value samples and getting it right. And when it comes to hats, Revz and I, thankfully, very matched in the fit.
Yes, very picky.
Needs to be deep enough to feel comfortable.
For me, it's the softness of the cotton.
Yes,
Got to get
I
it good. It's got to
agree.
be soft. You can't have a stiff, you don't want promo stuff.
Fuck no.
You
And
know?
also the size of the font. That was the other thing that we needed to get
That killed me.
adjusted. It was too big. We
Yeah.
wanted it
Then
small.
it was too small. Then it was illegible. Then it was
all of
wrong
it.
color. Anyway, we've nailed it now.
Yes.
And now we can't stop wearing them. And I'm sorry, I won't stop. So I guess we're launching.
So for those who are not on YouTube,
Wait, this means I'm going to have to go put them on the website. And Jem, I don't have time for this.
you don't have time for this. DLs, for context, who cannot see, who are living on the audio platform exclusively, Revz is wearing a pink hat with Hunji P in red stitching.
It's very cool.
It is very cool.
My Hunji
And
P hat.
I'm wearing a blue hat with Trenches Be Trenching
My
in
fave.
fluoro yellow.
Well, I thought it was my fave, but I'm reaching for my Hunji P a lot more.
Are
Also my
you?
coffee.
Well, the VIDL Who Is She merch is all I've been living in most of the time, let's be real. It's
Can
the
you have
perfect-
too many hats?
Never.
I don't think you can.
My husband's colleague asked him, why is your wife always in a cap?
She's got greys, bro.
Shh, don't give me away,
No,
but
don't
that's the
shame
truth.
her, bro. She's
It's
covering
true.
her greys, dickhead. Fuck off, don't ask.
My husband came home from work and he legitimately was like, hey, babe, someone asked me this question and he genuinely didn't know the answer.
Okay.
He's like, why do you wear hats? And I just lifted the hood of my hat and I showed him my skunk line.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh.
Love you, Hubs, but there's two gates that info shouldn't have gone through to get to you, Jem. One, this colleague. That's weird. Why was he asking that?
I know.
Two, why did it get passed on?
Didn't need to.
It's just a style choice, okay?
No, it's to hide the greys. Also,
I know that, but wait, what are you going to go up to some guy and be like, why are you always wearing baggy pants? What are you covering?
he's like, I've got a giant schlong and it doesn't fit in fitted pants.
I was
So
thinking the other way.
what, over comp?
Over comp.
Oh no. Making room.
Anyway, how many times have you got dirty hair? Me at the moment, every day.
Every day. We don't have time to wash our
Don't have time to
hair.
wash our hair. Still want to look cute.
Oh God, are we those insufferable people who are like, we're so busy.
We are
Busy,
though.
busy, busy. I know it's the truth of the
Are
matter.
you a mum? You're busy. Okay? Are you a mum who's working inside and outside the home? You're busy. Okay? Do you have time to wash your hair? Fuck no. That's why I got an air fryer.
Oh, pray tell.
I don't even have time to make nugs anymore.
Talk it up.
Oh, it's a game changer.
Are we converted?
I'm so late to this. It's embarrassing.
Well, I'm not even on the starting blocks.
It'd be like coming in and go, guys, did you know you don't have to go to a hotel anymore? You can now like rent people's houses and it's way nicer. It's like, yeah, I got an air fryer 100 years after everyone else because I didn't like the look of them and it was a real hurdle for me. And then I found a cute one. And I was like, well,
is it the crumble
it's the
one?
crumble one.
Okay, because I've been getting
Notspons.
served that
Yeah.
on my socials and I'm like, oh, it's pretty. And I'm like, Jem, it's probably not
Yeah.
practical, but turns out
It's very good
Yeah,
and it's
right.
cute. And I got served it so much, but you know what? You just give in to the internet. Like the algorithm just knows you and it's like, hey, you want this cute air fryer? You do, don't you? And I was like, ooh. And I obviously lingered on it just 1 second too long, moved on. And then I got served it every day for the rest of my life. And then they hit me with the sale and I was like, fine, I'll buy it. Fine, I'll buy it. Just stop serving it to me.
But the important question is, what color
I got
did you go
broccoli.
for? Oh, yeah, it's pretty.
Yeah.
I'm so glad they called it broccoli and not sage. Sage
It's
is
not
overused.
sage.
I know it's
This
not.
is actually, sorry, I don't know why I'm so angry today. The misuse of sage is up there with the misuse of POV for me.
and aesthetic.
Yeah, but that's a whole other problem. That's like it's got a new meaning now.
I know.
Can we
and
go back to sage for a sec?
Sure.
Hold up your cup. If you're on YouTube, that's sage.
Hunji pea.
Okay? Dark green, anything darker than that ain't sage. Then we're talking forest.
Bottle
then we're
green.
talking bottle. Then we're talking
Hunter.
moss. Like hunter.
Hunter green.
I would put that more in the British racing green, but I get real intense.
But
about
if
this.
someone calls hunter green for me sage, I'm like, no,
No.
it's not sage.
No, sage is pastel.
It is.
Yeah.
I agree.
So they were never going to call it sage.
We're
because
glad we're
it's
on the
not.
same page.
Yes, good.
Broccoli, cute.
But yeah, it really is impressive and what an air fryer can do. I know y'all will know this.
I'm still not ready to deviate off my Marley spoon.
No, I know.
train.
You stay there while you feel like you've got handle on things.
Yeah. Although, do you know what I'm tempted to try? Is Meghan Markle's single skillet pasta doobie whacker dish. Like
One pot pasta. Yeah.
One pot pasta. I know. I loved that she put in uncooked pasta into a pan, and I was like, oh, this really appeals to me.
Yeah, it's a whole new world, chummy.
Yeah, a lot of people are DMing me their one pan wonders, and I'm like, thank you, but I'm working on. I'm on a journey.
Yeah, she's just gonna stick with Marley Spoon
Yeah.
until she feels slightly more confident, and
Yeah.
then we can do the one pan. But you will. It's funny because you've gone harder than easier.
Oh, I know, but I don't mind that.
Okay,
Like
okay.
people like there are easier recipes. I'm like, nope, this is where I'm at.
Yeah.
I'd like to be pleasantly surprised by an easier dish.
I feel like Marley Spoon is like the ballet before you get to go and do like, I don't know, hip hop. Like
I'm
you've got
okay
to
with that.
learn your basics. You've got to learn the foundational
Yep.
rules of dance before you can go and freestyle.
Babe, I'm pickling veggies. Like, who is she? Can I just say as well,
I will let you have it.
I've made a little bit of a mistake though, because I've gotten too adventurous with my choices. Because every week I'm like, ooh, because the library of recipes is so extensive
This
that
is sounding so spawn.
and it's totally not DL's, by the way. This segment, it's just my life.
It's just her hyper focus
it's-
right
I
now,
don't
and we're
know.
all here for it.
I messaged Becky, partnerships gal, on the pod, and I was like, not to sound dramatic, but like Marley Spoon has changed my life. And she's like, I'm going to screenshot that and send it to the client. I was like, no, but like
Almost be working.
I know, I mean it. But anyway, I realized because I've gotten really adventurous, because I'm getting dopamine from all the menu listings. I'm like, oh, katsu chicken. Oh my God, I could try that, blah, blah, blah. Well, the advice I've been given, because I shared on Instagram, when does this get easier? When does it get
Don't
less
crumb
stressful?
stuff.
I don't mind making katsu. I quite enjoyed the process of that, if I'm honest.
You're a surprise package.
Am I?
You don't like chicken, but you're fine with egg whites? Or egg yolks?
No, it was just breadcrumbs
Yeah, but you have to roll it in something to stick.
and aioli.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
No, look at me. Who is she? But I was given advice, which is sage, talking of sage, and I need to be a dirty recipe repeater because I haven't been.
Oh,
I
yeah.
have not repeated a single recipe, and therefore, of course, I'm not going to find it easier or less overwhelming or feel that meditative
new
every single time. And then
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
Most of us are making the same 4 or 5 things every single week.
So I've learnt this recently. I was today years old. So so I've sort of reined myself in. I've got out of 5th gear. I'm stepping back into 3rd. And for example, the katsu chicken, the breaded schnitty, I have ordered it again. So I can have a second attempt and I can perfect it. Anyway, I'm excited about this new version of me. Who knows? I might start exercising at home.
Okay, just slow down.
Like Revz.
Slow down.
How's that going for you, by the way?
It's not happening.
Okay.
I live at my desk.
Yeah.
I'm a desk troll.
What about your walking pad?
My sister came over the other day and she went to my office and she goes, "How's this going?" I was like, "It's going fine." She's like, "Okay." Look, I do when I have to export something, I pop it down, and I
Great.
do when I'm picking music, I do that. I do use it, but it's not the everyday thing I thought it was going to be. I'll get back into it. At the moment, we're not in a normal time.
We are
okay,
not.
we're in show prep.
Yeah.
Everything's insane.
Yeah.
You can't be doing normal things. But I'm very extra proud of you for cooking. Look how it's filtering into the rest of your life. Can I just say?
What do you mean?
Well, look how, I think you've put a brick on your confidence wall.
I have.
I saw you this morning. You were in here early. You were getting on top of your to-do list.
Yeah, but do you know what I forgot, which I was devastated about, which I didn't share with you this morning, is I forgot my fucking leftovers, which I put in Tupperware. I bought new Tupperware.
Well, welcome to cooking life. You always forget your leftovers.
Oh, no, but I always remembered my chef good, I always remembered that because it was grab and go. And now I bought these lovely new containers and I didn't grab and go. Anyway,
Well, you won't do that again. You'll remember tomorrow.
I won't. I really wanted the rest of my prosciutto ravioli.
I've got a hack for you.
Oh, producer Kate says she's got a hack for me. Hit me. Jump on the mic, KD.
I guess this doesn't apply to people who use their phones to open up their cars, but
Which is just Gem.
but the best hack I was ever given, and it works, is if you put your car keys
Oh,
on whatever it
your
is that
lunch.
you need to remember.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah,
hack.
because you can't drive away without it.
Love it.
You're welcome.
Thanks, producer Kate. Do you know what, though? I would spend half an hour still searching for the keys.
No, you wouldn't. You
Yes,
wouldn't.
I would. Do you know what? The amount of times, and it's not often, but when Rafa's iPad dies, and then she goes, but Iggy gets his iPad. I want to watch your phone. And I hand her my phone. I will search for 10 minutes later, I will search for half an hour for my phone, being like, where's my fucking, and Rafa's literally sitting next to me watching, I don't know, ABC iView on my bloody phone. And then the penny lands.
You're going to be that old lady with her glasses on her head looking for them.
100p.
Oh, that's a great hack, Katie. I'm going to do that.
I'm going to do that.
I'm going to do that. We need to talk about the London show for a sec.
Oh, yes.
In case you missed it, we are doing our first ever international show this year. We're doing Who Is She in London?
Can't believe it.
Neither.
Still haven't processed it
Haven't
fully.
processed anything. Someone said to us the other day, like, "Oh my God, are you so proud?" And I was like, "No, we're nowhere near that yet. We're like, talk to us when we've actually walked on a stage." Anyway, 20th of September, we will be at the Shaw Theatre in London. And we got the best DM just before we started recording from these DLs who they're all American, but they live in Europe.
I'm going to pull it up.
Pull it up, read it out. I just can't with this. It's so great.
A beautiful DL shared in the group. She said, "Hi DLs," with all the exclamations. Yep, totally our vibe. London live show. Here we come. Woo! More exclamations. We're American besties coming to London from Sweden and France for our first, all capitals, kid-free trip. Brackets, 5 kids between us. Where should we stay? What should we do / eat?
All of
We've
it.
got about 2.5 days there. We are thrilled.
So exciting.
We are thrilled for them.
Yeah. Do you know what I can't wait to canvas when we are doing the London show is, are they Aussies living in London or
Or
in
are they
Europe?
Brits?
Are they Brits who listen to the podcast? Like we can look at data, but until you get there and meet
Yeah.
everyone, it's like you don't get a sense. I'm so excited.
Permission to be vulnerable for a second.
Always.
Okay. I had a moment where I was like, if we have British DLs come to the show, will they get our brand of humour? Which I know
Well,
is...
they listen to the potty.
Well, yes. I know they listen to the potty. So they obviously get us. But, the show is different. It's a bit sketchy. There's...
Quite sketchy, actually.
It's extremely sketchy. It's
so many sketches.
and parody-y.
Yeah.
And I just thought, Brits have a particular
humour.
Yes, dry sense of humour. And I was like, I hope they get it.
Well, I'm going off my time in the UK.
Yeah.
I only had like 1 or 2 British friends. Most of my friends were expats.
Yeah,
It's a
right.
very international place, which I think is why we have so many listeners there. You know, it's like my friends were American, French, they were English. I was living in Scotland, Irish, you know, Welsh, like German. I had friends from all over, Aussies as well. So I think it's just a melting pot of a place and a
Yeah.
place you go to, you know, start a new life or take a job or whatever. It's like New York, you know, everyone goes there for a reason. I know there are obviously native UK people, native Londoners, native Brits, but I feel my instinct, and we'll see, we'll put this to the test, is that it will be a real mix of not necessarily Aussies, but just like international English speakers.
Yeah.
You know, because they can
Okay.
enjoy the pod.
Well, I know that in the US, a lot of our listeners who live there are Aussies
Yeah.
living away from home. And what's been really nice is we've had a couple of messages of recently a few DL converts, like what we
Yeah.
call a DL in waiting,
Yes.
who live in America, where their friend has sent them our pod and being like a little piece of home in your ears. And I was like, oh my God, that's so
I
lovely.
know.
So if you have overseas DL besties
Yes.
who are missing their Aussie extended mothers group, like sling the podcast to them, you know,
so they get
can
one step
yeah.
further. Can you say hi if you're an Aussie DL living abroad and we are a comfort listen for you? Can you send us a little video or something? I would love to see where you all are.
100p.
That is so cool. When I lived in Edinburgh, oh my God, I listened to thank you so much, Katie. Katie's brought me a coffee. I love you. It's my third one for today.
So needed.
All my Aussie podcasts were like, it was so good because you would wake up and they're there like
Yeah.
from the day before.
Of course.
And it was just like the comfort I needed when I was really homesick. It was so nice. Anyway, can't wait for that. And I think there are London tickets left. KD, are there any London tickets left?
There are GA.
No Viddle. Viddle is sold out, VIDL.
But we've got a handful of GA ticks.
And there's no bad seat in this theatre, like all our theatres. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous theatre right in St Pancras.
And I know we promised that we wouldn't get too deep into show content in our weekly episodes. However, Revz and I are really proud and excited of how this year's show is shaping up.
Yeah, we are.
Like, and do you know what?
Starting to
Like,
come together
it
now.
is, and we get so deep into it that we actually lose sight of things. And as we mentioned, sketches and parodies, we've kind of sat with them since January.
Yeah.
When we started to seed our ideas, and then we went on the writers' retreat back in May, or was it April?
Feels like yesterday.
Yeah,
but yep.
whenever it was. That we've been living with these things for a long time, but now as pieces of content are starting to get finished for the show and we're sharing it with our team, we're like, oh, that's right. Like it's
That was that idea.
it translates
Yeah.
and it resonates and it's quiet relief, if
Yeah.
I'm honest.
But if I can do a soft sell,
Yeah.
feels like we're doing a hard sell.
Yeah.
If you loved the trenches last year, I feel like this year's show is really for you. We kind of
100p.
we tried to go like, what do people love about the show in the last two? Like, well, how can we like do more of that kind of thing? If you loved the trenches, I think you'll really, really, really enjoy this year's show.
I'm so excited.
Anyway, let's stop talking about the show.
100p.
I don't want anyone to get FOMO if they can't come.
All right, I'm flipping this on its head, okay? Because there's no other way to frame this up other than, do you know what I have time for?
What do you have? Oh, it doesn't roll off the tongue.
I know, it really
What
doesn't.
do you have time for, Bestie?
Well, what I do have time for are learning about idioms and the origins of idioms.
Oh my God, this is so you.
I know. I'm just going through a phase. Basically, I had a really interesting chat with someone about the origin of one particular idiom.
Which one?
Pass the buck.
Okay.
And then actually it transcends pass the buck and is a whole definition for something else, which I want to share.
Okay.
I don't want to patronize, but in case you don't know what an idiom
Oh, yeah.
is.
In case it's too late to ask. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. I was today years old when I learnt that an idiom is a phrase or expression whose meaning cannot be understood from the literal meaning of its individual
Like
words.
hit the nail on the head.
Yes,
You don't
exactly.
mean hit. You don't mean you're literally
Truly
hitting
hitting the
You
nail.
mean you got that one perfect. Yeah.
Exactly right. Idioms are a form of figurative language.
It's colloquial, and you kind of have to know it from vibes.
Yeah, and kind of like how some people love speaking in analogy, lots of people love using idioms to efficiently share what they're meaning, basically. It adds colour
It does.
to conversation.
It's one of those things that is so fucking cute when your kids first ever throw one
and
out.
you know that they don't know
And you're
really
like,
what they're saying.
You've picked that up from life.
Yeah.
That is so cute.
Yeah.
This is how we all become who we are. We just absorb.
Yeah.
Look at you, little spongy kid. Absorbing.
My kids love, because my mum uses it all the time.
Very British.
Red letter day. It's their
Oh, what does
favorite.
that
They'll be like, that was
mean?
a red letter day.
What
and
does
I'm like,
it mean? I've always wondered what that means.
so red letter day is a brilliant day. And
Okay.
where the origin of that, this is not my story, but lovely that you asked. The origin of that comes from back in the day when you had, I guess, calendars,
Mm-hmm.
that if there was a marked occasion, you would circle it in red.
Oh, wow.
So it's a red letter day, or
Okay.
you would write it out
Would
in
have
red.
thought it'd be a red number day. Just saying.
Yeah, well, I guess if you wrote
Calendar.
birthday in
Right,
red
in
and
red.
you circle
Okay,
it, I
yeah.
guess that's where it comes from.
Yep.
But anyway, my kids love it. So
A red
whenever we
letter
have like
day.
a fun, adventurous day with Yai, I'll be like, you know, did today go? And they'll be like, it was a red letter day. And I'm like, hello, you cute
Cute.
little Edwardian, Victorian.
Ghost.
Yeah. Like, where is this coming from? Anyway, other common idioms that I know DLs will obviously know is like break a leg, very show relevant, bite the bullet, cost an arm and a leg, beat around the bush. by
Cost
the
an
s-
arm and a leg makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, by the
especially
skin of
these
your
days.
teeth, barking up the wrong tree, break the ice, crying over spilt milk, a blessing in disguise, just to name a few. However, the story that I want to share about pass the buck
Okay.
and where it comes from. Many long time ago years. Wow.
Chummy, you're really chummying today.
Yeah,
There's
all-
a lot of setup.
Me speaks good England.
Yeah.
I'm here, promise. The exhaustion.
Manic.
Yeah,
It's
she's
manic. It's
manic.
giving
That-
mania.
My eye is twitching.
Yeah.
But onwards we conquer. Forward march.
That's the name of the episode. Onwards we conquer. It doesn't mean anything. It's not an idiom. It doesn't actually make sense. It's just flowery and overwritten, which is what happens to Jem when she gets a bit tired.
It's word salad, guys.
word salad.
That's what today's episode
Onward
is.
we conquer.
Onwards we conquer. Forwards we march. Imagine people in a barn playing poker.
Yep.
You know, when you play poker, the person who deals changes with every round. And back in those days, they would have a dagger on the table with a handle made out of buck horns, a buckhorn handled dagger.
Wow.
Yes. And so
Now,
that-
this started in one barn in one town
Yeah.
and really took off.
yes.
It went viral, you
I
could
know,
say.
but I find this
There's
shit.
no way that everyone had a buckhorn knife.
Well, this is how it started, a buckhorn knife. And they, you know, when it was your turn to be the dealer, you'd be like, pass the buck and put it in front of me so that we know I'm dealer, and then person who's left of dealer takes the first go.
Is this
Anyway.
what happened in life when there was no TikTok and no like global news? They were like, let's create little things we do to fill these long days that aren't cannibalized by work and social media by, I don't know, starting a ritual of buckhorned daggers when we play poker in a barn.
It's so bougie as well.
It's just so time rich.
I know. No, yes. However, Revz,
Yeah.
as mentioned,
Yeah.
you know, words get hijacked
Yes.
and bastardized like aesthetic, and I guess this is a version of that.
No, this makes way more sense than the bastardization of aesthetic. This is like, you can see the etymology of this.
Totally. But I just love the evolution of language. I'm obsessed with it. So then what they worked out over time as you play poker and you drink a lot of booze, bit dangerous having a buckhorned dagger on the table. So they decided to replace it with a coin to represent who the dealer was.
And the coin is a buck.
Well, it wasn't.
Oh, now it is.
And now we
That's fun.
say
I enjoy that.
that's where the origins of the word buck comes from.
Do you
Have
know
you
who
got
would
a buck?
enjoy that,
Who?
Jem? All our dads. All our dads would enjoy this at a dinner table.
Are you saying that I am full of dad commentary right now?
You are just like, you delight in dad stories.
No, I don't want to admit to this.
That is beautiful. It's a
Oh,
beautiful,
no.
beautiful trait of yours. It's like, it's so, but I'm just thinking, who in my life would enjoy this story? My son, my 8-year-old son, and my 70-year-old dad. I can't think of many other people. I love it.
Your bestie Gem.
And my bestie Jem.
Yeah. I don't know if it's gendered. I feel like,
No, but you know what I'm talking about.
yeah, I guess.
You
Is
know,
it
like, who at the dinner table, when everyone says stuff, blah, 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 is the one to go, do you know where that came from? It's dad.
I don't know. It's in my household, it's my mum.
Okay. All right.
because she studied literature, and she, I guess, was partly why I fell in love with Shakespeare
Yeah.
and trying to decode the language. Like, I don't know. For me, it's not gendered, but it's okay. I'm happy to be considered like full of dad chat.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And the DLs love it too.
But you know what? I love this kind of conversation. It's so much better than the bullshit like, what school are you sending your kids
100%.
to? You know, like
100p.
like a
100p.
on her cap.
I agree,
know?
Jem. It's so much more interesting, and you learn so much more about people like that. They're cute little English nerds.
Yeah.
Like then, oh, did you see that thing that Trump did? You know,
Yeah.
like, yeah. Where's that get us? Nowhere.
Or like, did you see next week's weather forecast?
that's also a very you thing to say. Deals.
No, I am going to defend this, but continue.
I'm not shitting on you. I'm just Jem gets so mad at me when I'm not appropriately dressed. It's not in my daily routine to check the weather.
First thing I do every day. Hey Alexa, what's the temperature today?
Now that was aggressive because just because it's the first thing you do in your day does not mean it's the right way to do a day.
The problem is, Revzy, is I have to deal with your lack of temperature control.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
How do you have to deal with it?
You're like, oh my God, I'm freezing, or oh my God, it's hot. Is it hot in here? Like DL's, Revzy has an assortment of blankets. Like your sister came into the office and she goes, oh, you've got an office ditty.
which we need to rebrand now because
Ditty.
Diddy.
Yeah, I know, it's awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Diddy is the family name for blankie.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
a rag or whatever.
Tommy started it, and then even though Teddy's 2 years older, he was like started calling his blankie his Diddy, and now everyone calls him
and
a
now
Diddy.
Revz has office ditties because, you know, when
Do
she's
have office ditties.
cold. She also has like a cushion that's left. Like there's just so much random comfort
So tell me
shit.
again how you have to deal with my temperature control.
All right, I don't. But every time I silently eye roll going,
Not
you know,
silently. Not silently.
oh babe,
Overtly.
you have no idea.
She looks at me with that face that she gets, which is like, what is wrong with you?
She doesn't think about all the times where I've bit my tongue and I've distracted myself on my phone, smugly thinking it's top of 15 today. Of course it's fucking cold. Why are you wearing a cotton t-shirt?
Okay, you're going to feel bad.
Go on.
You know how I have number blindness?
Yeah.
Full dyspraxia.
Yeah.
Top of 15 is like saying to you, go west. I don't really know what it means.
I know, but I feel like I could help you with this.
Well, I feel like I
Can
can
I-
help you drive home without navigation,
Can
but I can't.
just, I want to give you a rule. Can we work with a rule?
Let's try.
Okay. Anything under 20, so anything in the teens, add a layer.
Okay.
Anything over 20 is considered on the warmer scale. Anything over 30, piping hot.
Yeah. Well, that,
You know,
yeah.
stay out of the sun at midday.
Okay.
There we go.
All right.
Just like teens is chilly. And the lower the teens, the fucking colder it is.
I know how temperature works.
Okay. I'm just trying to give
But,
you
like,
a guide.
I couldn't tell you if I need something different between a 12 and a 15 day.
You don't really.
Okay.
That's
Well,
just
then why are we
cold.
checking? Because we live in Sydney where it's pretty much 15 to 20 degrees every single day.
I don't know. Disagree.
Anyway, she gets very mad at me for being who I am.
But also, no, I'm not mad at you, but I feel like there's a better way. And Alexa is amazing.
there's a better way is what I would call my biography if my biography was only about being your best friend. There's a better way. The Kate Reeves story of being Jem's best friend.
Savage.
Of course there's a better way. This is who I am.
I know. But aren't we trying to upgrade the software?
We are, but I can't be adding anything into my routines at this point. Like my routine is stacked. There is no space for, I mean, I know. Alexa, what's the temperature today? How do you check it? Manually?
No, I have an Alexa in my bedroom.
And you ask her?
First thing in the morning, what's the temperature today?
Don't look at me like I asked you to tell
No,
me the
I-
Russian word for
okay. You
dancing.
are giving my husband right now just ultra defensive. Like I literally just said a statement and you're like, don't look at me. Like I literally just said, you said, how are you asking? And I said, it's on my bedside table. That's all I said with no tone, no attitude, just pulling the thought from my head and delivering it in the most basic way.
I must be giving an energy off at the moment because
Speaking of manic,
Americano is very like defensive with me, and I'm like, what is happening? Like, I'll be like, hey baby, I can't talk. He's like, okay.
well, that's what you just did with me. I was like, I have an Alexa on my bedside. Okay. That's what.
Well, I don't know. I'm imagining like, why do you fit this into your routine? Do you
Okay.
wake up and go,
I'm not in a Disney movie.
Oh, birds on the windowsill. Good morning, Alexa. What's the temperature in Sydney today?
Apologies to all DLs who are listening to this with an Alexa in their room. I know how annoying this is. I just have a little Alexa, not a fancy one. Got it from Amazon. It just sits on my bed. It tells the time. I roll over in bed and I say 2 things. Hey, Alexa, what's the temperature today? She'll be like, today in blah, blah.
She'll say too much, won't she?
No, very
Good
short.
morning, Gem. I don't care.
None of that. No, you're wrong. She doesn't. She gets straight into it.
Oh, I need to train mine
Yeah.
better.
And then I follow it with Alexa, play Norah Jones' Sunrise. She's trying not to judge me. Every day. Little ritual, little habit.
There's a better way. There's a better way.
No, have you heard that song? It's very soothing.
Every day.
Every day. And my kids sing it.
But you can't order the same Marley spoon twice. Who are you? Who is she? Genuine question. Who are you?
She's a walking contradiction. She's full of shit.
Every day?
She makes no sense. It just starts my day.
Can you combine the prompt?
No.
Can you tell I'm in an efficiency
No,
era?
that's asking way too much of her.
I really think the AI helpers, the Alexas, the Googles, all the girls in our lives,
Yep.
the bots, add too much fluff for me for 2025.
Well, they repeat things back, which is
Oh,
annoying.
don't repeat it back.
Yeah, Google
Don't
does
repeat
that.
it back. If we were editing the podcast and you repeated it back, we'd lift it out.
100p.
Alexa, what time is it? Good afternoon, Kate. The time I'm like, just say 3 o'clock.
Yeah, 3 p.m.
You know? Like, I don't need all the pleasantries.
Yeah, it's quite annoying. My kids love asking Alexa fun facts. So, for example, the other day, Iggy was asking something about North Africa and a particular species of animal. And Alexa went on Wikipedia, blah, 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 and cited the source before giving us the facts. I was like, I don't have time for that bullshit.
I don't have time either, but I guess in this day and age,
Yeah.
you probably should cite
Cite the source. I know. It's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
But, you know, ChatGPT doesn't. And it collates.
Well, it does, but
from
with an
everywhere.
icon.
Does it?
Yeah, there's a little icon, but you don't have to. It doesn't waste your time.
Don't need to click on
It's
it.
there if you need it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, if you're doing an essay.
Gotta say, and I don't mean to go on and on and on about my girlfriend Chatty Cathy, ChatGPT, but man, it's the relationship is very fucking serious.
Yeah, she's fully integrated into my life.
I can't believe how much she helps me.
Yeah.
Like I'm editing all the show content at the moment, guys, and my video editing is like neck level because I used to like. If you work with any kind of creative tools like the Adobe Suite, sometimes you just missed a day or you don't know how to do that thing.
Totally.
And you know there's a way of doing it, but you can Google for like hours. You can Google for hours and end up in the bottom of Reddit threads and in all sorts of Apple forums and Adobe forums and still not get the answer that's going to solve the problem you want to fix.
But
Chatty Cathy, I'm like, hey babe, is there a way to add a motion blur in Premiere Pro? Frunk. 1, 2, 3, here are the steps. And she knows I've got Premiere 25. You know, she knows all the things. I don't have to like brief her.
so good.
She's so great.
So I asked her the other day, end of financial year sales.
Oh,
So my vacuum cleaner shat itself at the most inconvenient time
always.
because Rafa smashed a mirror. And so there was shards of glass everywhere.
Stop!
Yeah.
She did what?
Actually, it was me. Well, it was both of us.
What? You can't be smashing mirrors right now. We just got out of the curse.
I know, but I just don't believe in that bullshit. Like, you know, like Mickey Fisher taught us, you can't absorb that
Yeah,
kind
but
of
let's not go walking by black cats right now.
or under ladders or opening umbrellas indoors. I refuse to feed into it. It's like, guys, I actually got influenza last week and I think I denied it out of my system and out of existence. I was like,
Give me strength.
no, I did. I was
You
like,
were sick all week.
yeah, but I drugged up. I didn't complain about it. I just got on with it and pretended like it wasn't a thing.
You are being such a man right now. Would you like a trophy? That's just called being a mum.
Sure. Don't we all do that? Do you know what's more annoying is someone who's like, I'm so sick.
Yes,
And just
so
talks
annoying.
about, and it's like, we get it. But like literally none of us have a millisecond of additional time and you just get on with it.
Yeah.
And I literally had a conversation with myself in the mirror going, you're on death's door, but we're just going to play a little mind game with ourselves.
And then the mirror broke.
And then the mirror smashed. It's got nothing to do with it. But anyway.
And that vacuum cleaner dying has nothing to do with the fact that you smashed a mirror?
No, it died before it.
Okay.
Doing some other shit. Anyway, God, we are all we are inarticulate this week, Revzy.
Yeah.
Point is, jumped on Chatty.
Yep.
And I just said, do you know what? It's always bothered me that the battery life of my particular vacuum cleaner doesn't extend beyond 20 minutes. And I literally said, give me the best stick vacuum cleaner with the longest battery life.
Great.
And boop, instantly delivered.
Just the
And-
way you set that story up,
Yeah.
sounds like you were having a real pen pal relationship with Chatty Cathy. You said, so I popped on Chatty and I said, do you know what? It's always bothered me.
how
And
I
I bet she
talk
would
to
have
her.
said, that would bother me too,
Yeah, she
Jem.
would.
Yeah, she's very affirming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing.
Mm.
Anyway, I then thought, efficient. I'm going to compare this with the Google.
Mhm.
And I typed in the same thing into Google and it gave me a million options.
Yeah.
And,
And they're trying with their little AI thing at the top, but it's always
not-
wrong.
No, it's not there
Always
yet.
wrong.
Yeah. So
Yep.
anyway, I appreciated it and then add to cart, get my vacuum, get on with my day.
It's this time saver we deserve.
Mm.
I really love her. I know it's not perfect yet.
It's not perfect, but the way that it's moving, the pace of its advancements is very impressive. However, I don't know if this is a chat we want to get into, but like you do wonder about the future.
Well, I was at my father's 70th on the weekend.
And was this all the chat?
Well, with my cousin. I was talking to my cousin who works in a completely different industry to me. He works in financial services. And he said he was in like a really amazing AI seminar.
My husband was there.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, he brought all this information home to
Oh,
me
right.
and I was like, fascinating and terrifying.
Terrifying. But like basically my cousin was saying like, it's so impressive what this
Yeah.
AI is going to do. But he's like, but I was just sitting there thinking, all these things they're describing, that was my job when I started at the bottom.
Yeah.
And he's like, how is anyone going to get in?
Yeah.
Like, how do you get in the ground floor? And I'm like, well, I just don't think we'd have to worry about that because it won't become about if you can write a report or if you can read this well or if you can it's going to become more about
Commanding.
well how you harness AI and how you work with AI and
Agreed. However, you just need one person to manage AI.
oh yeah, I know. Yeah.
And they have these things now called AI agents where you assign a number of AI agents to one manager.
Yeah.
And that's the scary thing
Yeah.
is the loss of jobs. And
Well, I guess it's going to make the divide between like executive level jobs and shit kicker jobs even greater.
Huge.
And will there be like middlemen?
we don't know.
And what are we going to do with everyone who doesn't have those
Yeah.
jobs? Yeah.
It's like people who are lawyers. Like I think about that industry, which is going to be enormously impacted because when you come in at that entry level, you're that associate doing all the research.
Yeah.
But that research has now been distilled into seconds where you could literally ask about, okay, I'm the defense on this particular kind of case. Hey, ChatGPT, run through the internet and give me every similar case
Yeah.
and what the winning.
But there's still a human element. And I don't know, call me rose-colored glasses, which you do all the time. Like, I really have faith in humanity's need for humanity. I do. Because even in law, there is a human element that needs to interpret the law and then make it make sense. And I know AI will get really, really good at that. But like, I just really have like you could ask AI to make our podcast. You could give it all the prompts, you could give it our characters. It would not make this wild, unhinged episode. It just can't yet. And maybe it can in the future, but I don't know. I don't want to listen to AI generated podcasts. I don't think.
No, neither.
I mean, maybe I will in the future, but I don't know. I just have a quiet faith in the truth of humanity. I really think it's just going to get rid of a lot of time wasting junk in our lives.
Yeah.
Like the fucking typewriter to the word processor.
Totally.
you
But
know?
like anything, there's always going to be an overcorrection
Yes.
at some point
and,
where,
and
yes,
fear.
people will crave that humanity and that need for connection and actually actively choosing to work with humans and that face-to-face connection. I think that will come back.
It'll probably be a bit of a flex. Like it'll probably come at a premium. Like we
Yeah.
don't use AI for these things. We use, I don't
Sure,
know.
but like you, I worry about those entry-level jobs. Like, how do you get to the executive roles without taking the necessary stepping stones or the previously existing stepping stones when they are now being taken away? Like, that is literally what's going to happen. You know, like when we had the Industrial Revolution, it was everyone's job was working in a factory making products and goods, and then we went into the Service Revolution where everything became about service-based work. Whether it's hairdressing, whether it's consulting on things, like that's where we've been. The problem is
Been
now
there for a really long time, I guess.
a very, very
Yeah.
long time, like quite
This
a
is
number of
moving so
decades. But
fast.
this is moving so fast, and now there will be a segregation now between certain service-based jobs where they're still of value.
Yep.
And then anything that can be done by AI or a robot, it just will.
Yeah.
And the government is in a really interesting place where they've got to make some choices to protect people's jobs. If it's cheaper for a business, and this is the thing, like startups now, like startups are now
The
starting
barrier
with
to entry
is
is
so
so
low.
Yeah.
Yes, like they are starting with AI agents,
Yeah.
starting whole businesses. They no longer need to hire people. So they're going to move, at a crazy rate. It's like when your Airbnbs, your Ubers came out,
Yep.
that era of tech and apps and that boom, like that is going to look completely different now with startups.
Yeah.
So, yeah, what does the government do? What regulations do they put in place? Do they tax businesses at a higher level if they are exclusively using AI for human jobs? I don't know.
I just think these things moves around. Yes, life as we know it will change shape, but things move, other things become important when those other things get taken away
Yeah.
as a society.
Totally.
We will move around and adjust, and this is just a changing of the way we do things. I don't know. I do have faith in humanity.
I do
Maybe because we're
too.
creatives, though, that is a place of privilege. AI can't. Yes, it can do something. Like, guys, we were like, should we just see what AI can do in terms of script writing, right? We had this sketch we wanted to write, and we were like, do you reckon AI could do a first draft for us and then we can punch it up? Oh my God, was
Turns
it
out
terrible.
It cannot.
Cannot.
We were quite relieved.
We were. I mean, we were annoyed and relieved because we were like, dang, now we've got to write it.
Yeah.
But it was like, oh, okay. And I chucked lyrics in there. I would have thought lyrics would have been something it could absolutely do because there's a
Ba-bow.
stanza, there's timing, there's rules. Rhymes. Nope, it could not do it. It doesn't have that creative thing that you can't even.
Je ne sais quoi.
Yeah.
No, it's true.
Yeah.
And then the thing is, as what will happen with AI is everything gets samey, and humans are incredibly smart, and people start to spot and feel the rhythms of AI. It's like how we now understand what an AI generated image looks like. There's a
Well,
particular
for now, that is moving fast.
I know,
Yeah.
but for now, there's a particular sheen, a gloss, a style, an aesthetic
Yeah.
to it where we're like, well, that's obviously AI generated. I know it's changing, but again, it takes commands to make it look like
Yes.
not your standard AI
100%.
imagery. But I don't know, Revz. I'm like you. I'm half hopeful, half concerned about jobs. Like I just worry, and I know new industries will be born out of whatever, just like social media.
Our job did not exist when we were in high school.
I know.
And every time someone has a moral panic about how are our kids going to get jobs, I go, my parents sent me to an amazing school and encouraged me to go to university and then to get a postgraduate degree. And my job that I do now that
Didn't
pays my
exist.
bills did not exist.
Yeah.
Like, if we think we know the jobs our kids are going to do, we don't.
No, we can't
just-
be that arrogant to
no.
assume that we do know.
And every generation thinks they're witnessing the downfall of the human race. That's just part of being alive.
It
you
is.
know?
It's a rite of passage to worry about the next
Yeah.
generation. I remember when colour TV. I remember my mum telling me.
Is a Victorian ghost.
I remember my mum telling me when colour TVs came out.
Imagine the
And
panic.
the older generations were like, oh my God, now they're just glued to TV. And they talked about television like we do iPads.
Yeah, and now watching TV is like going to the fucking library.
I know. It's so funny. I love it. But, there's a lot of talk about these universal salaries, and I'm very skeptical.
What's that? I haven't heard any of this chat.
Yeah, well, universal salaries, like if robots and artificial intelligence do all of those entry-level jobs or those administrative work across every single industry, then people propose this idea of a universal salary where the government pays people a salary, like
a base living wage.
Yeah, for me, it's giving communism a little bit.
It's giving
like
Brave New World a little bit.
Yeah,
but I'd like to hear more about that. Though.
Well, I guess philosophers, their concern is like people need purpose, a sense of belonging, and a sense of being valued. While the universal salary sounds great, it doesn't encourage that need to seek purpose, or it doesn't fulfill just anything. Like just being a provider, turning up to work, feeling of value, feeling like you're working towards, even if it's someone else's goal.
Yeah, or are we all cooked and like slaves to capitalism that we've got this, narrative that we need to be productive to be of value. Like, I don't know, a lot of communities and countries that have universal living wages, I know no one's doing it perfectly, but they have great, some of the Scandinavian countries.
What do they have?
They have like living wages so that no one is like, it's basically like a version of welfare, but it has a lot more dignity. You don't have to line up in a bread line, like in our countries, certainly in the UK and America, if you're on welfare, there's sort of like a governmental imposed shame and it almost feels deliberate. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, we're going to give you your living wage so you can get by and raise the next generation or whatever, but you got to line up, you got to do this, you got to jump through hoops, you got to do all these things, right? Whereas some Scandinavian countries, they have these particularly for artists or people who contribute other things to society, and they have amazing results. Far less mental health crisis, big uptake in this, a lot more people raising their kids at home, just like positive things.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any one right or wrong. I think there's an exciting thing about this time that it might make us look at, what is important as a society. What is contribution? Is it just being productive? I feel like we've been on that since the Industrial Revolution,
Yeah, I don't know. I think productivity and purpose are two very different things.
Same.
What I do like is there's more opportunity for birth of creativity if people are given time, but I feel like that's a particular left or right brainer situation where one party's looked after, but then there's another party that's like, well, what do I do with my time? I don't know. I get very skeptical when we look to countries' structure or methodology or approach to how they govern and look at it through this very idealistic lens. I don't know. I've had so many conversations with people who are like, oh my God, how amazing is the NHS? And then you get on the ground.
Oh, yeah.
And, my cousin who was a surgeon who worked in the NHS, and he's like, lol, I love how that's the perception. And when we had the London Olympics, we had a whole segment like praising how proud the UK is of the NHS. Do you want to know how broken this system is?
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's an interesting time, and I'm fully aware that it's rite of passage generationally for us to be worried about the next generation. I think the difference with this is the rate and the speed.
Yeah. It's whiplashy.
It is extremely whiplashy, and people will jump on board, people will get left behind. It's just, I think the other scary thing is our inability to fully understand the world in which our kids will be a part of, where we are just 2 generations away from them, and they will speak an entire language we literally will know nothing
already
about.
happening for me.
Totally.
I already like, what?
I know.
I'm
It's
like,
wild.
Mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild.
Crazy.
Yeah, but I heard somewhere, and I'm sorry, I can't remember where I heard this, but that time does move in these fits and starts.
Yeah.
And that we've been and they think it's in 10-year cycles. And they're saying we're kind of at the end of a 10-year cycle when things have sort of like was settling in with the noughties and the digital age and all that sort of stuff. And now we're in like a speed, it does speed ramp every 10 years, and we're in that. And I think they said that usually lasts about 6 years, and then it sort of slows down again.
It's a cycle. Okay. I hope
Let's hope
the
that's
case.
true.
Yeah, we shall see.
Well, I have a really analogy, un-AI, very non-tech Notspons. So
Go on.
Ask me.
Hit me with your non-techie Notspon.
Oh, cute.
I
Well, have I
say.
got a non-techie non-spot for
Hit
you?
me with your techie Notspon.
I don't know if you have this pain point yet. You have a kid at school, but and again, very foreign to me. My kids love maths, and they're constantly asking me, Mum, give me a sum, give me a sum.
Cute.
Now I'm like, 3 + 2. And like, you've already given me that, you know, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I can't pluck this shit from my brain. I'm trying to cook dinner and clean and feed the dog and blah, blah, like, you know, overstim. Anyway, my girlfriend, I went round to her house. We were having a few wines, feeding the kids. They were running around and the kids were like, we want to do sums. And we were like, okay, nerds. But anyway, she pulled out of her kitchen drawer this stamp from Amazon, and it's a roller stamp.
Yeah.
She pulled out A4 paper and she went frink, frink, frink down, and it gave them each 25 sums.
Oh my gosh.
You can get addition, you can get minus, you can get, you know, what are the other ones? Fractions, times table, like all,
Yeah.
whatever level of difficulty. I bought a
Amazing.
3-pack that has multiplication, addition, and fractions.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's just like, yeah, it's just like another way you don't have to parent, but you are parenting because you
so
bought the thing and you set it up, you know?
cool.
And then
Oh
your
my
kid's
gosh.
doing a really good brain, analog, real world thing. And they're not on their Fortnite or whatever.
Here for that.
Yeah.
Do you reckon with AI, sorry to bring it back to this, but like how much is schooling going to change? Because things like times tables and shit, like I remember vividly, my brother and I would come down for breakfast and we had a whiteboard in our breakfast room at our dining kitchen table. And my mum would write out, like, today we're covering 5
good
times
mum.
tables, and it would be like 5 times 0, 0, 5 times, you know, and my mum would make us sit there and it would be for the week. We would focus on that. And by the end, we would know them off by
That is
heart.
such good mum behavior.
Mad good mum behavior. And it got me thinking, I was like, do my kids need to learn that? Like, you know, they've got calculators in their hands.
You've
in
got to
their
think of it
phones.
like dance again.
Yeah,
It's the foundational
foundations.
steps.
Yeah,
If
I
they
guess
miss
it-
that bit, the other bits get harder.
Yeah, well, something I then got served up on my Instagram because AI is always listening
always.
was Arlo and Co. It's this beautiful personalized brand that does all sorts of things. But something that they do are stick on times table
cool.
little charts, and they recommend sticking it right by your bathroom
I've seen
wall.
those.
Yeah, it's really cute. So you can sit there and work on your times
But
tables.
kids don't sit on the toilet. This is the flaw with this product.
don't know, my son does.
I've been served them. I'm like, my kids barely touch the bowl, like barely touch the seat. They're like, frunk, frunk, go and do something else. No one's sitting there. They're not sitting there going, I got to get this big adult poo out. I may as well learn my 9 times tables.
Unless you're my son.
Really?
Yeah, he's like an old man.
Okay. Just
know.
having a sit.
Just has a sit, and it's really annoying when we go to a public toilet because
no.
I'm like,
No, Iggy, no.
can we hurry this? Like you said I gotta go, and then why are we sitting here? What are you stalling? He's like, it's coming. I'm like, when? I've been standing here for 5 minutes, gagging on the stench of this stinky bathroom. Get me out of here. Yeah, no, he's hangs around on the bowl kind of kid. Yeah,
Okay.
odd.
Hit me with your Notspon.
Have I got a Notspon for you? I shared this on my Instagram. It was a huge hit, so I'm adding it to the pod to live for eternity.
Let me guess. It's your apple slicer.
It's my apple.
It's your whole personality.
It's so good. And I am shooketh. Because I'm so late to cooking, I was like,
This
everyone's
isn't cooking. Just saying. This is not cooking.
okay, kitchen. I'm late to the kitchen.
I'm late to kitchen.
Yes,
Because
exactly.
you grew up in a breakfast room.
So I lol at myself, literal eye rolls at myself, being like, everyone's going to be like, yeah, Jem, we all know. But I share this shit and people are like, where do I get this?
Yep.
How did I not
Link
know
me.
about this? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So the apple divider is from Oxo. By the way, it's on sale on Maya at the moment, down to like $11.
Surely it's on Amazon.
Probably on Amazon.
Get it
anyway,
tonight.
I've also learnt that you can buy it from IKEA, but then in the same breath, some DLs gave me an alt to
Yep.
the OXO one, and then other DLs were like, don't get this alt because it breaks really
My love.
easily, it snaps.
Because you're late to kitchen.
Yes.
You don't know that, yes, of course, you can get many different brands of a kitchen appliance. This is like saying, guys, I got a potato peeler. Now, I got mine from this place, OXO, whatever. But I have heard you can get potato peelers. Yeah.
But do we not care for qual?
Of course we care for
Given the
Qual.
opportunity to
Fair.
spend $11 on a quality apple divider that's
Fair.
not going to snap, fuck off. She's mocking me.
I'm not mocking you. I'm zooming out and laughing that this is a job. Given the opportunity to spend $11 on a quality apple divider is not a sentence I ever thought that you would say in a workplace.
Yet here we are.
Yet here we are.
But truly, it's so
Yes.
good because it's not just for apples, it's also for pears.
No way.
Shut up.
Late to kitchen.
I am, but the bit that blows my tiny mind is how none of the seeds get on the slices. Like I thought surely, depending on the size of the pear.
Shut this down. This is not good chat.
No, it is.
Wrap it up.
Anyway, I think it's brilliant.
And it's got a cora.
I know it's got a cora, but in my head, depends on how deep the bite is, I suppose. Sometimes I hit seed, sometimes
We
I
need
don't.
to find some more jobs for Jem. I don't know how she has time to think about this.
It's because it's my hyper focus, the kitchen. I've arrived.
I'm so happy. I am genuinely happy, but I feel like I've created a monster.
Babe, you have. Just wait till I get my air fryer. No, I'm not even there. I'm not there. I can't even joke about it because I'm too overwhelmed by the current season that I'm in.
DLs, we love you.
As always, we'll be back in your ears bright and early on Friday with a Bestie hotline.
If you want merch, if you want show tickets, if you want to see the colour Sage, you can go to we-don't-have-time-for-this.com and see our YouTube, buy our merch, get our show tickets, anything else you might need to know. It's all in one place. We love you. We'll see you there.
We love you. Bye-bye.
Bye.